Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again. I'm back yet again doing what I do. If it's your first time here, this is what I do. I walk along in beautiful locations such as this, and I give my thoughts and opinions on what's happening in the world and their public consciousness. If you're a returning subscriber, all 913 I think it is today, welcome back. It is an honour and a privilege to be here and to have you join me. Thank you so much, one and all, for joining me. So today we're going to be talking about the human condition, and are we really what they tell us we are? Okay, now if you've never been here before, I ask questions because I don't know the answers, and I'm asking questions and looking at the state of the world. No one can really answer the question, so I do this because I want to start conversations and I want to engage with people, because I want to see if people think everything is as lunacy as I think it is. And so far I think we can all agree it's pretty crazy at the moment. Now, the human condition, we're told by smart people apparently, that if it wasn't for people at the top and people who are there to keep order, that the world would be out of control. We would just turn around and kill each other. It would be chaos. We can't manage our own affairs. We're too small-minded and stupid to manage our own affairs. So we need mummy and daddy there, the mummy state and the daddy state, to look after us, to tell us what to do, because we can't make our own decisions. Well, at least we can't be trusted to, because, well, where would that lead us? Because psychologists and psychiatrists and all these human experiment kind of people, Milgram experiment, that kind of thing, you know what I'm talking about. They tell us all the time that humans are violent and we're nasty and we're all these things. Now, I look at history. I do. I'm not a historian by any stretch of the imagination. I look at lots of different things. I look at, things now that are repeating that happened in history. And I look at what's happened in history. We're talking about wars and all this kind of violence that we can pinpoint and say, well, yes, it is that people are terrible. Look what they did to each other. But, as I've said in many of my videos, nearly all of my videos, we have been bound slaves within the systems all the systems that we've lived under our entire lives, and for generations. This isn't new. But for generations, we've been ruled over. And that ruling class, this very class system that we're living in still, if you don't believe me, have a look around you. That ruling class has always been there to be that finger on, finger on the scales is what I'm looking at. It's always tipped in their favour. You will obey. Now, where does this come from? Where does this idea of, that people are violent, and because, well, we've seen it, right? We've seen that there's violent people out there. There's without remorse that would go and do these kind of things. But is that the majority, or is that the minority? And I'll give you an example of what I mean. Now, we're told that people are selfish and it's always about take. Well, in our society now, it seems to be more prevalent. Because people are, well, I'm all right, thanks, Jack. Okay? But in our society now, it is all about me. But we're told that it's not. Right? Now, we've been through the last 2 years with, the psychological operations that we've been living through, and, the torment and the misery that we've had to endure through lockdowns and what have you. Afternoon, how are we doing?
All right.
Just talking to myself, no worries. Yeah, that's just me talking to myself. And through this, we were told on a daily basis, constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that if you didn't do what everybody else did, then you're a bad person and you didn't like people. Obviously, that's not the case, but we were told at that stage that we could make our own decisions. That the decision had to be made by somebody else. Now, a lot of us didn't like that idea and pushed back against it, as we should. But what that shows us is that a lot of people went along and did, you know, what they did, you know, all the things that they did, all the things that they were told that would be the right thing to do, and they did it. They did it because they thought they were helping other people. They were doing it for the betterment of society. That's what the words were that we were told. You know, it's for the greater good. Just do this so everybody can get along. And people did it. Now, they said, I did this because I want to protect other people. So our natural instinct as people is to help other people, right? You know, we're always looking out for other people, but we're told that we're violent and all this, you know, is that true? Have a look at what's happening in Canada right now. Now, you have a bunch of very, very pissed off truckers who have gone out there and staged a peaceful protest. The media has lied constantly about who these people are, what they represent, what they're trying to achieve. And the latest one, they're calling them treasonous. And they're calling this sedition, that they're trying to overthrow the government. And what's happening? Even in the face of that being called racist and terrorists and all these other things that they've been called, people are still going out and supporting them, because that's our nature, is to help each other. Whenever there's a tragedy or a disaster, a flood or a hurricane or a tornado or something. Afternoon, how are we doing? Hello, puppy. Hello. How we doing? Afternoon. Whenever there's a tragedy, a tornado, or any kind of natural disaster, what happens? People always go to help each other. So, where does this idea come from that we're violent and that we turn on each other at the first instinct? You know, let me give you another example. We're constantly told by the people who are in power that we need to be governed, that we can't make our decisions. But yet there's plenty of people that live, you know, in remote areas where they don't have that kind of governance, and they self-govern and everything works out fine. We're lectured to, talked down to by the media, by the political class, that we would fight and kill each other if it wasn't for them. But where does it come from? Where does that idea of, you know, that we're violent and that we would turn on each other? I think the idea and the concept comes from lack, the idea of lack, that there's not enough for everybody, and that the only way to get something or to get up is to stand on other people. So, you know, rather than being cooperative, it's all about, I'll use other people to get where I want to go to. I'll step on them, and the only way I can get what I want is to take it, I'll take it. Because we're told there's lack. But is there really lack in the world? Let's look around. Look at all the waste that we have. All the waste that we have in our world. Everything's made out of plastic. Most of it comes from China. And, well, while we're on the subject of China, I think we should all give a round of applause to China. I think we've been very, very harsh on China you know, over the last 2 years. And I don't think enough credit has been given to China for what they've done. I mean, they've created something that's lasted longer than 10 minutes. I mean, bravo, China, bravo. You've actually created something that lasts. Amazing. Even if it is a fake. So let's round of applause for China. Bravo. But we see people coming together all over the world, which is, I mean, amazing. I'm so pleased. I am. I mean, my last video I did, not with the one before the last one. Did you see the one with the NASA gentleman, Michael Janessa? If you haven't seen it, it's awesome. Watch it. I'm a little bit biased because, you know, I made it, but it's great. Great interview. And it's not what you think. Have a look. Have a look at it. I think you might just be surprised what's in there. But the one before that, and look, I'm always on the edge of being insanely, incredibly upset because of the state of the world. You know, I've got people around me that are, you know, supporting me and giving me care and attention, and all you wonderful people with your messages of love and support and encouragement. It's amazing. You know, it is. There's so many people carrying me through this. I've been speaking with my wife, as I do. We discuss everything. And it's all about a shift in perspective. I've got to shift my perspective away from being angry at the people who've created this and who've perpetuated this, and be happy. Now, why the hell would I be happy with what's going on? I mean, honestly, that's the most ridiculous thing I could possibly say, right? How could you be happy with what's going on? This is what I'm saying about the perspective. And it's not easy, but you've got to look at it with a different perspective. What's going on now, it is so over the top ridiculous. I mean, everything is ridiculous, completely over the top. I mean, it is ridiculous. I mean, that's the only word I can come up with. It's clown world. But the stranger it gets, and the crazier and the freakier stories that come out. I mean, some of the things that I'm hearing are just so stupid. I'm wondering how anybody can take it as reality. I do. There's that word again, reality. Gets in the way of everything, doesn't it? And I'm still arguing that point with my wife about the word real. What is real? Anyway, we're getting off the subject. But the point I'm trying to make is that we are here in this ridiculous world, this clown world that we're living in. The crazier it gets, the more people see it. The more people see it, the more people wake up. The more people wake up, the crazier it gets. Until it gets to that point where it gets so crazy, even the people that are hanging by the last thread onto that, oh yes, I still believe the science, they can't believe it anymore. In the face of irrefutable evidence, they will finally see, and the game will be done. But we have to still play this game, because there's no other way to get past it. How do you bring down the systems that are toxic to us all? You have to expose them first, and everyone has to see it. Where we go one, we go all. Think about that. If there's some of us can see what's going on, there's some of us that can't. We have to be patient. Take a breath. It's like being back in school. Being back in school and you're in a class, there's maybe 25 or 30 students in the class, and you're doing a new kind of math problem. You've just started geometry. It's way back in school, okay? I'm doing it again now with my kids, but just imagine all those years ago, you just started doing geometry and the teacher's explaining it on the board, you're like, I don't get it. And eventually you go, I see it now, I get it, I understand. But so the guy next to you is like, I don't get it, man, what's going on? What are you talking about? And eventually, there's something that makes that information click with you. There's some piece of information, there's some word or some phrase that will make you click one day and you'll get it. But a lot of people haven't yet. They still believe the narrative, even though we have CNN is in free fall. The media is just proving themselves to be more and more like liars every single day. The narrative is crumbling. Here in the UK, all restrictions are gone. Everything. Why? In the middle of winter? In the middle of a pandemic? Why all of a sudden gone? Just gone. Strange things are afoot, don't you think? And before the end of the month, even stranger things are going to happen. It will get crazy. Now, not a financial advisor, never have been, never will be, certainly not your financial advisor. The front page of The Economist has a picture of a roller coaster, and the roller coaster is at the top of the peak and it's about to go down very, very, very far down. And it says, what happens when the market crashes? The Economist, okay? Everyone agrees. The inflation's out of control, which is I've been talking about for years now. Inflation is now out of control, officially. The price of everything is going up. Heating, fuel, everything, food. If you can't see it by now, I don't know what to say. But yet we still have a huge proportion of the population that still doesn't see it. Things are going to get absolutely insane. Insane. Necessary, for the systems to be exposed. As this insanity ensues, the most important thing we can do, this is, I'm talking to myself here as well, is to stay calm. Don't panic. And the only way you can not panic in that situation is to be prepared. Mentally prepare yourself for what could happen. I'm not going to tell you something will happen, I'm telling you what could happen. When you have a situation as we have where the economy is in hanging by a thread, there's nothing holding it together, zero. We are heading for a market crash of biblical proportions because so much money has been put into the system over the last years, since 2008. Billions and billions and billions have been printed and put into the system. The issue, like we're talking about today with the human condition and how people interact with each other. Afternoon, how are we doing? Is that given that a situation is arising where there is a possibility of lack, if there is a supply chain shortage for any reason, if the ships are stopped for any reason, that there is that lack. And that lack creates situations where we have people turn on each other. And the way we can avoid that is to be prepared for just that kind of situation where we could have a supply chain shortage, as we're seeing what's happening with all the ships off the coast in America. China, there's a lot of their ports are shut down at the moment. It is a preparation is key. Good afternoon, how are we doing? Just walking along talking to myself. Now, like I've said many times, I'm not talking about digging a bunker in your backyard. I'm talking about having some extra food, extra water, and some currency that you could use to trade with should things go horribly wrong. We're talking about cyber attacks. If the banks and the financial institutions are cyber attacked, what do you think is going to happen? Are you going to have access to money? Probably not. Have some cash, some extra food, some extra water, whatever pills you like that you need. Whatever you think that you're going to need for maybe 2 and 4 weeks of mayhem, then have that. And be calm about it. Don't panic. And if you're in a state where you have enough that you're not worried about you and your family, then you can start to help other people, develop a community. Now, this all sounds crazy and over the top, but if the last 2 years has taught us nothing, it should teach you this. That if you look around in the world and you see the craziness, where does that end? How does that stop? How does that craziness stop? It stops with us being calm, turning off, like I said, in the Stop the Noise campaign, switching off the news, because they're lying to us all, and they're trying to incite fear and panic and greed and turning on each other to divide and conquer. Oldest trick in the book, Sun Tzu. So be aware of what's going on in the world. Help your fellow man like we always do, and you can do that by being prepared. Prepare yourself, prepare your family, mentally prepare yourself. Remember, this is necessary for us to cleanse this evil in the world. People have to see it first. So prepare yourself mentally, physically, have everything you need, and you can help the world with your preparation. That's what we need to do right now. Help each other out. Do what we have always done. Help. Not turn on each other. Help each other. Let's prove these people who tell us we're an evil, violent race. Let's show them what we really are, who we really are, by helping each other through this difficult transition stage. Now, as I say at the end of all my videos, go out into the world, do good, be good. You can change the world with your thoughts, your actions, and your speech, how you interact with people. Now, if we all do that, the world will be a much better place, and we can really right the wrongs that have been done to us. So smile, deep breath, prepare. I love you all. Look after yourself, look after each other. Remember, 21st, switch off, disconnect from the world so we're ready for the 22nd. Love you all. Look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Ciao for now.